Hey guys, welcome back to the Harbor Site. This is gonna be a special one. I mean, I say this every single time, don't I? But seriously, I'm really excited about this one. I got my man Tyler from the Agoge, and also my jiu-jitsu coach. Really frustrating. And then I got my man Sebastian Paz, that we're gonna call Seb. And for those of you who follow me on Instagram, I shared a post one time, and this is a man who served his country, who is an immigrant, who was an immigrant. Are you an immigrant? Technically, you're still an immigrant, right? But you're a citizen.
I immigrated to the United States, yes.
So you're an immigrant and served his country in the Air Force. We'll get into that. But then that wasn't enough. And this is what I love about our veteran community, is because serving itself was not enough. So he gets out, and what does he do? He serves the veteran community with an organization called Vet WOD. But that wasn't enough either. He wanted to grow. He wanted to expand his reach of service. So he decided to become a registered nurse.
Sounds like you've been pushing that needle, Seb.
And served his community as a nurse for how long?
Civilian side, I've been in the medical field for like 2.5, 3 years.
2.5 years?
Yeah.
And just got canceled because of what's going on, which was, I mean, absolutely heartbreaking to see, because as an individual that is just constantly trying to serve people, to have this just absolutely ridiculous system to
unconstitutional.
Do that. Yeah, unconstitutional system to do that is heartbreaking. So anyways, welcome to the podcast, Seb, and my coach Tyler. You guys, welcome back, actually.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Should we actually crack open your misstep eventually in this podcast somewhere?
Let's do it.
Okay. So welcome to the area, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's been this area is
We
awesome.
actually met at, I'm gonna give some love to PBAbbate. Great freaking organization.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are doing some great stuff. They got some pipe hitters that are pushing that organization, which is good to see. And we went to, Tyler actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to Montana to this fight club, and we're going to do jiu-jitsu. Let's do it." And I was like, I'm in. And that was a great. How long were we there? 3 days?
No,
I
it was
think
like
it's like 4 or 5.
4 or 5 days?
4 nights. I think.
Something
Holy
like that,
shit.
yeah.
Like
It was
Thursday to like a Monday or something.
Well, it's not like it
that.
cost him any lodging.
Right, yeah.
I think because of where it was, once we were there,
Like we could have.
I didn't even know.
Changed our flights and stayed there.
Yeah.
No, you just go native. You know,
Yeah.
Now you're in
Right.
the mountain. You're a mountain man of Montana.
I could have got down with that
Yep.
for sure. It's
But the
beautiful country.
view up there doing jiu-jitsu is just crazy.
Beautiful.
So we did a 4 or 5 day veteran camp up there doing jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and some other veteran kumbaya fireside stuff, which was really good.
It's great.
And I think I spoke about it afterwards, but it was really, this is my take on it, was, a lot of veteran groups will get down and they'll talk about, like, woe is me, and they'll just do this sewing circle of just negativity, really. And that's not what this was. It was like really freaking empowering, and like, how do we move the needle in our life across the board as a community and as individuals?
Best networking event I've ever been to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely up there for me. Anyway, so funny story. So this is what happened. All right, you guys ready to talk about Nick being humbled and getting his ass kicked? So I'm like,
When did this happen?
so when did this happen? It happens every day with you. What are you talking about?
I don't know where this is going, but I like it.
I better be involved in this story.
So we go there, and a lot of people there, I think everybody there was a white belt except for me and you. I mean, other than like these guys, which, whatever.
I think Frank might have been a blue belt.
No,
No,
he was
he was
a
white belt.
4-stripe or 3-stripe.
3-stripe white belt, yeah.
He just got it like a few
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Oh, good.
Really
Yeah.
solid. Now Frank was really good.
Solid.
Frank was really good in no gi, like great no gi,
Yeah.
right?
And gi too.
But I mean, I had him in gi.
Sure. But he was overdue for his blue belt.
Yeah, he was. So anyways, so I'm like, oh,
dude.
sweet. Like, not that there's nothing wrong with rolling with white belts, because someone will catch you for sure, but it's really nice to roll with somebody who's about your same level, because it really pushes you and makes you think and everything. So I'm like, sweet. Seb's a blue belt. We're going to roll, and we'll be on the same level, and we'll get some good rolls in. Because, like, rolling with Gareth is like,
Miserable.
unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the point? What's the point of like
Just
fighting
getting
this dude?
smashed
Yeah,
every
man.
time.
It's like I'm not learning anything. I'm just like getting my ass kicked by this.
I haven't been scared training since I started.
You still-
I was
until you
scared
rolled
that weekend. Yeah.
until you roll with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the picture of you doing a. What did you do? Omoplata, and he just stands up.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And he just shook him off. He
hanging
shook him
from
off.
his arm.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go roll. You know, Seb and I are gonna get some good rolls in. This dude commences to complete embarrassing the shit out of me. I felt like I was day one at jiu-jitsu. That's exactly why. It was so embarrassing. He like mopped the floor with me in my gi. Come to find out, the dude is a shitbag blue belt. Sandbagging blue
Motherfucker,
belt. You have been a blue belt for like 5 years. 6
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And you know, credit to Sim, our professor for that week. He was like, nah, bro.
Get your ass up to Chicago.
Well, some of that, and of course, after all that, we went into like the story, and everyone kind of shared their journey. And part of that was, I was in the military. I had 2 toddlers at the time, so my jiu-jitsu journey was very different. I wasn't able to stay in a particular place for too long. I got my blue belt, and then I PCS'd a few times.
Now, when did you start jiu-jitsu? Like what year?
2013.
2013. Damn.
And then I moved military stations a few times. I did a deployment. Then we had kids. Then I moved to another place. Then
But you actively tried. You actively stayed involved.
There was months. There was months where I wouldn't, but actively throughout the years, I never quit.
Yeah.
I took breaks.
Yeah.
I slowed down the pace.
I think there's a lot to be said about that too.
Yeah.
The consistency.
And
is
everywhere I went,
admirable.
man,
That's
when I was in Texas, I trained in Texas. When I was in Ohio, I trained in Ohio.
You were a
when I was
nomad.
in Indiana, I trained in Indiana. And so part
You're
of the
a BJJ nomad.
Sure. And the problem was, I wasn't at any given school long enough to earn the professor's respect and the time, which I totally understand.
Yeah.
So by the time that maybe they were going to give me a stripe or promote me, I had to leave.
You were out. Yeah.
And so it wasn't by choice, but I also at some point I stopped caring about the stripes and all that, because I realized that it's about the journey, and I'm going to be a lifetime practitioner.
Yeah, you actually just said that the other day.
I'm going to do jiu-jitsu until the day that I can't physically no longer. So I don't care, and it's nice to get the stripes. And
what's the point of getting your black belt in 10 years, and then at 10 years you've got another 50, 60 years of life that you have to live.
Right.
If I may, we've talked about this before. It no matter where you go, if you become invested and become a member in that jiu-jitsu community, that gym, that professor or whoever's coaching you, it's their responsibility to sort of dig a little deeper, find out where you've been, your story. It's about more than just getting good rolls or whatever, which is obviously very important. But they should take some time, find out how long you've been training, where you've trained. Obviously, they're going to feel your level of technique and ability, right? Yeah. So, and in that case, even though you're only there for a short time, they need to make sure that they are rewarding you for your time.
Especially if you're a nomad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And some of that wasn't their fault or my fault. It's just the way it happened. And, I don't go around asking for stripes or promotions
of course.
and I don't care, but when we roll, you're gonna, the mats don't lie.
Yeah, right.
And so
most honest place I've
ever
been.
I felt that personally.
Yeah. and so, and I just really love jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I just love the intimacy. I love the challenge. I love that in the moment when I'm on the mat, I'm there.
That's it.
Physically, mentally, spiritually, all my senses are there.
You're not worrying about bills, your job, your family.
And I leave the mat,
yeah,
and I feel,
yeah.
Even if I'm getting smashed, there are times where I'm literally a punching bag, and it feels great. I'm like, you just tapped me out, dude. I feel so good.
Right. Yeah, that was good. Right. So it's funny because when did you get you were a 2-stripe blue belt, and when did you get that last stripe?
All right. So I got my blue belt before, because I was gonna PCS to I was gonna go on a long training to Texas. So my professor at my first gym, He's like, I got to give you your blue belt before you leave. So he gave me my blue belt. Then I went to Texas. I was in Texas for like 6 months. I trained the whole time. I went to a couple, 2 or 3 tournaments. I got double gold and everything. Then he gave me 2 stripes after that. This is when 2014, 2015. So I got 2 stripes, and I didn't get stripes until I didn't even get another
you didn't
stripe.
get any.
I just got, So
I
just didn't care.
Yeah, he was a sandbag. So I was like, oh man, this is like he's on my level. No, he's not on my level at all whatsoever. And I had like 40 pounds on him, and he was still like playing with me like a rag doll.
Part of that too that helps me that people don't know is I'm smaller, like stature and like body build, but I work out a lot. I just love working out. I think it's a great therapy. I think it's very functional, and to do the things that I like to do and to live the way that I like to live, like you got to be strong. Yeah. And I bring that background to jiu-jitsu. So I like moving well, and I pay attention to technique, but I'm also very strong. And I played soccer in college. I played soccer my whole life. So my legs, like people like,
no, that's how you got me.
Compliments on my legs. My legs are, I mean, my legs are
I couldn't. Yeah,
super strong.
Super.
And so I'm deceiving. People are like, oh, you weigh like 190, 200. I'm like, no, bro, 155, 160. And so
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, we got some guys for you, man.
Oh, bro.
Oh, I know.
See, you guys might have talked. Don't talk me up, man, because now I'm gonna get smashed.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah,
it's gonna be beautiful.
I'm gonna love it.
Who's all coming?
I mean, everyone's gonna be there that I, typically at least at some point throughout the day. We might even do an afternoon session for some folks that may or may not be able to make it in the morning or night.
Yeah, so as long as the boss lets me.
3 a day, baby.
Yeah,
it's a long day.
There's some. We got some pipe hitters in the gym that you'll have fun with.
I'm sure.
They're like the best.
I can't wait to watch you and Braden go at it.
Oh my God,
it's gonna be a blast.
He might hurt your feelings.
Hey, listen, I'm ready.
He's a 20-year-old
jiu-jitsu is all about being humble.
Well, you say that until he gets you, and then you're like,
until you ordered a slice of humble pie.
I've been tapped out by kids, like green belt kids.
I did too. I got locked up in a triangle.
All I can do in that moment, all you can do is say like, "Man, you got
that was good.
Good job.
It's good."
Hopefully, it doesn't happen.
It's funny
again,
though, because he'll get you, and then he's like, "Man, that was so great. I love you." Yeah. And I'm like,
"Thank you so much."
I'm like,
"Thank you so much." I'm like, "What?"
Wait, that's the wrong line. Yeah. I say that.
Anyways,
well, a lot can be said too about the responsibility of belts and promotions and stuff too, all the way to the top. So just something to think about for gym owners, people that are running affiliations. Like, you got a responsibility to look after all your guys.
Take care of your people.
Just in general, just to be a good person.
Well, Sim did a good job. I mean,
someone stepped in. That was beautiful.
He righted it. In my opinion, he righted it wrong. Exactly. And it's not like you said. It's not about that. But it's like, dude, this dude put in the work. And as leaders, and as leaders in any community, you have to recognize your people when they put in the work. And that's what. I'm not talking about jiu-jitsu in general. I'm just talking about in general. Yeah. Like, you have to take care. If you're a leader in that community, you have to take care of your people, and you have to reward them for hard work. And Seb put in the work, and
with or without it, it doesn't change the work that you did.
No,
but it's something that should be done.
Capability. Yeah.
In that moment, I felt adopted.
Yeah.
And it felt good.
He's a great guy, man.
And he is.
He's a freaking great guy. And so, if anybody's in Chicago. What's the name of his gym?
Grappling.
Chicago Grappling, right?
Yes, Chicago
Grappling. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. He's a cop now.
Did you see us on Instagram Live the other night?
No.
It was me, Dirty, Nick, and Mason.
Was this after my hours?
Yeah. Dirty was blowing glass, and we were just having a blast.
The crap,
That's awesome. Yeah. So if you're in Chicago, please go check out him. He is he's gonna be like, what the hell? Where are these people coming from?
Right.
But
at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
I gotta go up. Yeah.
So Air Force.
Yes.
When did you join the Air Force?
So after college,
you must be really smart, by the way. Like, you just went to college, so.
Yeah.
Most people I have here are not that smart.
Automatically, I'm just smart because of that. No. I didn't learn a lot in college, but I ended up with debt. Anyways, yeah.
Don't do that. Everybody listening, we're not on that plan.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
What did you go to school for?
So I started with criminal justice, and then I ended up graduating with psychology.
So Air Force.
Yes.
When did you join?
2012.
2012. Oh, damn, when I got out.
Yeah, so I went to college on a soccer scholarship first. I graduated.
Did you play the whole time?
Yeah.
Where?
1 year in St. Thomas University in Miami, Florida. Then I took a break. I had some like family issues with my mom, and back in Colombia. And so I took like a 1.5 year break, and then when I came back, I played 3 years in Emmanuel College in Georgia.
Okay,
Nice.
Was any of it televised? Can we find that stuff?
I don't know about televised, but there's still records. Like I got a couple of the years, like all conference, all state, like all regional, man, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I probably to this day, I'd say like playing soccer was probably my best talent. I just
should we change the team workout tomorrow and do soccer again?
Yeah,
and bring Seb.
That'd be awesome.
We had so much fun playing because there was no one good.
Well,
So
Hector was pretty freaking good. Go figure, the one Hispanic dude on the team.
I would love
it's in
to
our
come
DNA.
break your
It
ankles.
is,
It's
dude.
in our
It's
DNA,
truly
man.
in your DNA.
Yeah.
I believe that.
I'd pay to watch you break Nick's ankles.
Yeah. I haven't played in years, but yeah.
You down to do that?
I'll do whatever.
Mate,
I'm down
should we
for
do that?
Let's do it.
man.
Why not?
Do
It's gonna be
whatever.
nice out. It's all muddy. We can have a slip inside.
That's how old people break themselves right there.
Yeah.
That's how
you
Nick
can have
goes
at least
out.
2 torn ACLs.
All right, so finish college, join
Yep.
the Air Force. What'd you do?
Well, between the Air Force, between that, I worked as a correction officer.
No kidding.
In a juvenile jail, psychology, criminal justice, and so I did that.
How was that?
It was awesome, but at the same time, it was like heartbreaking.
Of
And
course.
it was very tough. And
You know,
so,
I did some little bit of time. In
I know you
juvie.
did. Yeah. So I had a bunch of U's that I had to keep
Dude,
safe.
it's so freaking
Yeah.
hard, man. It's like
Yeah.
my heart goes out to them, and I really, really want to be involved with that stuff. But they have to want to get better.
Yeah.
They have to want to have a better life.
And to be honest with you, man, and I know, you're big into family and mothers being mothers, fathers being fathers, but a lot of them were just victims of not good role models, not good systems. And so they would end up in places and in situations that would follow them for the rest of their lives, and they had no idea. And so they were set up for failure to begin with. And so I cared. I don't do something unless I'm in it, from the heart.
Yeah.
And so I was carrying that burden, and they weren't just a number to me. It wasn't just a clock in, clock out job. And so I told my wife, Kelsey, I was like, yo, I can't do this forever. This is gonna either change me forever as a person, or I'm just gonna it's gonna be horrible. And then eventually she would end up paying the price for it, and then my kids. And so I was like, she was going to nursing school at the time. She was almost done and had always wanted to serve because, again, I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was 15, and so I always wanted to serve and give back. So I was going to do it after high school, but then I had the soccer scholarship. So I'm like, let me do that, and then I can, hopefully join in the future. And so we were at a crossroads, and then I decided that it was the right time to join the Air Force.
Wow.
Had you always wanted to serve in the military?
Yes. So I came to the U.S. when I was 15, actually a few months before 9/11.
Really?
In June 16 of, right before 9/11, yeah. And so that
you're a teenager.
Yeah, 15, yeah. That changed my life. And ever since then, eventually I became a naturalized citizen. And then I always just wanted to serve and to give back and to be thankful for, again, it's like the a big theme in my life, being adopted. I was adopted by this nation. I was given opportunities that I didn't have otherwise, opportunities that we came here to look for. My mom brought us when, we were teenagers, my sister and I. And so I always wanted to serve and give back. And so that was the right time. The boss, aka my wife, said she was cool with it. She wasn't very excited about it, obviously, because what it means, to potentially be in danger.
Yeah, of course.
But she knew that was important. She knew that I wanted to do it. She knew that I was doing it for us too. Because it's for the future.
But I mean, because of where you come from, your perception is like, I grew up in danger.
Yeah.
I mean,
and to me, it was just, I didn't grow up entitled. I didn't grow up having everything. I grew up, my mom a single mom raised my sister and I, and she worked very hard. We had everything we needed, but there were times where it was tougher than other times, and I never had a father. And so my mom had to sacrifice a lot and work a lot. And so, you know, when I came here, I was very thankful, very appreciative, not very entitled. So it was like a no-brainer for me.
What do you think contributed to your outlook, given your circumstance?
As far as like being thankful?
Yeah, as opposed to, you know, playing a victim.
Well, I think growing in a third world country, growing up with a single mom, growing up with, I mean, my sister had a huge role in helping raise me as well, even though she was only 2.5 years older than me. I mean, she taught me how to ride skates, bike, how to swim. You know, she was like, you know,
second mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know, a lot of people helped my mom while she was working a lot. She had to like work longer hours and go out of town a lot of times. And so just being thankful, you know, because it did take a tribe. And it's a no-brainer to me. I mean, in other countries, I think it's mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory in Greece.
At least 1 year.
Yeah.
Most countries. And so I think that really played into me.
So I'm going to deviate from like my original question, because now that you're on this, like with everything that's going on, and you hear this a lot. Like I've got a bunch of people that are from, you know, former communist countries, you know, Cuba, you know, certain South American countries, Venezuela, and then everything that's going on in the past 2 years here. They're like, hello, like wake up, because
this is the textbook for how this is going to happen.
Yeah. So what, you know, if everything that's happened in the past 2 years, you coming from Colombia and everything that's happened in that country in, geez, man, decades, right?
Sure.
There's a reason why you come here.
Yeah.
I want to say like not a couple things. How does it affect you? What's your thoughts? Like, does it worry? Does it bother you? Because I mean, I look at some of our fellow Americans and I'm like, you're spoiled brats and you have no idea how good you have it. And you're talking about this socialist garbage and you have no idea what that means. Yeah. So not to put you completely on the spot, but
preach it, brother.
Yeah. Like tell me what, from your opinion and your background, how does that
resonate?
Visual and how does it resonate with you?
So I'll paint a little bit of a picture. So my mom in Colombia was a lawyer, like full lawyer. And this is probably somewhat right after the Pablo Escobar era. So this is, you know, 1990s. Yeah. The country's still recovering from that. And there's a lot going on, right?
That was a mess of the country.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, the election.
During that time.
Election with the same.
And the unemployment rates were huge. So my mom was a lawyer with many years of experience. She couldn't find a job. Mm-hmm. And so she was driving a bus, like a school bus and a taxi as a lawyer, and she just couldn't, it didn't cut it, you know? And you know, there were different times where we were doing a little bit better financially and other times where it was like tougher. So eventually she's like, okay, like I think looking at the long game, thinking about me and my sister now that we're, you know, middle of our teenage years, she made the tough decision to come to the United States for me and my sister. Yeah. So obviously once she came here, she wasn't going to be able to be a lawyer because she had to learn the language. She had to go back to school again. It would take her like 8 years, depending on how good she learned English, how quickly, as a single mom. So it was just not in the cards, right? So she gave all that up. She brought us here so that we can go to school here, so that we can learn the language, so that we can have opportunities. And I think that, you know, by itself really set us up for success because we saw how hard she worked. We saw all the sacrifice that, you know, she had to, you know, choose to, you know, make for us. And so, you know, I just don't feel like we were given everything. We had to earn things and we had to like seek things and we had to find ways.
Nothing was given.
Nothing was given. Yeah. And you know, and I think that is my mom directly set me up for success and my sister because every opportunity that we've ever been given, we've maxed out. You know, whether it was at school, in the military, I excelled because I'm like, oh, that's free. Oh, I can do this. I'm going for it. Even now, oh, I can do that.
It's an opportunity it's an opportunity, and you take it. Yeah,
sacrifice from your mother's been sort of like passed down. And
the balls on these parents that immigrate to the States blows my mind. My grandfather came here not speaking the language. He said he grabbed his kids and his wife, not speaking the language. All he could do was, he was a carpenter. He swung a hammer and came over here in the 70s just to give his family a better life. I mean,
just heard it was good.
I can't even imagine going to a country I don't speak language with my kids and go, I got a couple dollars in my pocket. We're going to catch a flight or a bus or a freaking boat.
Hope for the best.
And then just
work
get
our
there,
ass off.
work there and land and figure it out. That's crazy.
And even to this day, I mean, you can have a conversation with her and you'll be able to understand, but like, she's not fluent in English.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I still, you know, if she has to write a letter or, you know, I have to translate for her, or like, there were times where she had to take me to job interviews for me to like translate for her, you know? So I think seeing my mom and, you know, her journey,
it's got to be incredibly humbling.
For sure. And so I know that things don't come easy.
Yeah.
Opportunities are like, there's no luck. You know, I think that your luck increases the harder you work, the more you invest in yourself, the more you build your tool set, the more you think about, you give to others, you worry about the community and you give more, things start happening, you know? And so I just never grew up with that entitled
so the past
mindset.
So the past 2 years, what's been your thoughts on like watching all this kind of transpire?
It's been tough, and you know, I have because of my background, I have a lot of different thoughts. You know, like being an immigrant, being a minority, being a veteran, being a medical worker.
Right.
You know, so it's been kind of a lot, and you know, it's been tough for everyone, no matter where you stand, no matter where, you know, what you believe in. But, you know, I'm still in the mindset and in my heart know that this is the best country that, like, I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm staying here and I'm fighting to recover some of what we've lost, to stand up for things that matter to us. The reasons why me and my mom and my sister came to this country.
Like
freedom, opportunity, equality, having to earn things. So if you earn it, if you fight for it, if you put in the time, you know, being able to make a future, being able to forge your own path, not being worried about like crooked police officers or crooked politicians or people trying to just, you know, put more money in their pockets, you know. And so,
because most countries that are like that legally, you don't have opportunity. It's not as simple as just like, I'm going to work hard and make it. No, man, the system is not built like that. And that's what we've been trying to get people to understand. That are like these young Americans that are like, you know, heading down this socialist, you know, road. It's like, you're screwing your kids, man. Like this is not a system that you really truly want, because you want to talk about equality. There's no equality in that, not down the road.
And all those things take work, right?
Yeah.
You know, every single day. It's founded on principles that are going to last forever.
Like I want to live in an environment that we are free to make choices across the board, and that means you are free to be a lazy bum, or you are free to work hard and make something in your life for you and your family.
Yeah, if you're a lazy bum, that's your choice.
Your choice.
No worries. But don't complain.
Yeah.
About somebody else getting opportunities.
Yeah.
One of the things that, and again, I don't take it personal. Like, I try not to get upset or like take things too personal, but I take note of things.
Yeah.
Up here. And sometimes I even write them down. One of the things that really bothers me is when people say, "Oh, you're so lucky." Lucky? What's luck got to do with it?
That should make you chuckle.
Yeah, I mean, luck, sure, but you don't know the hours of sleepless hours that I've stayed up doing work, the 1,000 doors that I've knocked on, so that 2 or 3 doors would be open, so that I can walk through and make sure that I did things so that I can stay once I cross the doors. Because you know, you always have to keep working. You know, you don't get to keep something just because
there's no finish line.
Correct.
There's no, and people think that like when I make it, there's this point of arrival. There's no point of arrival. There's never, just like jiu-jitsu, right? Like you get to a black belt and then what?
Yeah.
You're there? You're the best in the world? No, man.
Or also think about this, and what some people say, like, I wish that I could do that, like you, or I wish that I had this. And I'm like, at the same time that I'm like, well, one, I earned it, but two, you can get there. You can have that. Yeah. You just have to work for it. You have to plan for it, and you have to execute the plan. But we're in a place, in a country, where you can actually do that because we're free. Because, you know, here you are like, you're not given anything. You're not given handouts, right? You have to work for it. But if you earn it, then you get to have it.
One thing I like about your story is the underlying theme that I'm catching is a lot, is you're always doing things in the service of others too. You know, you're doing it for your family. You know, you do some, is it missionary work?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
really?
Yeah.
So like
that's where my wife and I met, doing missionary
always,
work.
Always something, you know, selfish people have a tendency to be so selfish and lazy that they won't even do it for themselves. Right. Let alone for someone else, you know. And the fact that you keep that, you know, I
do agree with that.
Theme is awesome.
Maybe it's the way, maybe no, it's the way my mom raised us. Like, she was so selfless. Even when she didn't have anything, whatever she had, she would like distribute to friends and family.
I mean, it sounds like she basically put her life kind of not on pause.
She sacrificed herself too.
Yeah, she fell on her sword for her own kids, man.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to go to a country I don't speak language. I'm going to lose my profession so that my kids have a future.
She never even sought to get remarried, or she even had a boyfriend. Like, she forgave herself completely. I never had a man live in my house after my father left. My father left when I was 2, about when I was 2. There was never a man that slept in our house.
The fact that you turned out the way that you did,
she needs to write a book.
Tells me that your mom is just something else.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She should be our next guest on the podcast.
Right. I can translate.
You can translate. That'd be dope. How did you do this? Give me the. I want the blueprint. The formula, I want the formula. I want the blueprint, because we can sell that. Yeah. All right. So you were in the Air Force, and what did you do in the Air Force?
My first 4 years, I was a firefighter medic.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to. My wife got pregnant, and then we kind of wanted to do something else. So then we wanted to move closer to her family. So then I cross-trained to be at a base in Ohio at Wright-Patterson, and so I did flight medic. I became air evacuation. Yeah.
So what level of medic is that? Like an EMT, paramedic?
The base was EMT basic, but as with all things military,
I just don't know the medical. Sorry, forgive me. I don't know the medical side of the Air Force. I'm very familiar with everything else. But
right. Okay. So we were at the very least EMT basic, EMTs, state and federal, and then depending on your base, you could our scope of practice was much wider than a regular medic because we were under the umbrella of the DoD. And so if you're deployed, or if we ran a 5-person team, we had to take care of the patient no matter what. So, we were doing nursing tasks and helping our nurses, and, it was much more than EMT basic, but that was like the very first thing you had to do. And then after that, you just learn a bunch of tasks and stuff.
Is that kind of what led you to becoming a registered nurse?
Yes. So when I was a firefighter, I really enjoyed the medical calls. I really enjoyed them. So then I'm like, I love being a firefighter. I'm not going to cross-train or leave this unless it's something better. So I was like, okay, I get to be a medic in an airplane. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah. And it was awesome. And then after that, when I got out, I went down that path, and then I used my GI Bill, got my master's, and went into nursing and continued medical. Yeah.
And then, so then after that, you started to become a traveling nurse, or did you actually get a fixed site for a while?
Yes, I was at a fixed site for a little bit over a year, and then Ohio.
What were you doing?
I was a nurse.
Like ER?
ER. I only do ER. Yeah, okay. I don't. Emergency medicine, trauma medicine is my gig. I don't.
That's high intensity, high stress.
And I'm a little bit rough around the edges, so like being up in the hospital, like with patients and family. I got tattoos and a beard and hair and like.
But honestly, it's probably good to have somebody like you in the ER with those cases.
And I'm very composed.
Yeah.
You know, even when crazy situations, like I'm not saying I don't get that rush or like the adrenaline dump and oh my gosh, and I'm shaking. I still do.
We all
even
do.
though I've been doing that for a long time.
You can get that, and
but I can still think.
Just like being in a firefight.
Yeah, still do tasks, still communicate with the team, and so it's chaos.
Control.
It's very familiar to me, and so I love the ER, you know, and so I did that for a little bit over a year, and then the pandemic happened, and then our lives just kind of changed a lot, and we made some decisions, you know, that were going to mean a lot for our future. And then we decided to become travel nurses. And then actually we decided to travel first, be off the grid and just like focus on family. And then we realized that traveling nursing with that was great. Yeah, it would go great. And so my wife had some dreams that she'd been thinking about for a long time. And, you know, I feel like she followed me around when I was in the military a lot, and, you know, she sacrificed a lot. And so just felt like it was, you know, her turn to, hey, what do you want us to do? Let's do that.
Why'd you guys settle in Cincinnati?
We settled in Cincinnati area for a few years, and then that's where we held from once we started traveling. Yeah.
That was for a specific reason though, right?
Yeah, because I was my duty station was in Wright-Patterson, and then she's from like the Cincinnati greater area, so we settled there, and then that's kind of, you know, because our parents are there, and we lived there, and our kids were born there. Like that's kind of like our home, and still our tax.
You guys
home.
were helping take care of her mother too, right?
Yeah. So we were also going out, you know, traveling quite a bit, but then, you know, we found out that she was ill, and then we just wanted to come home and like spend time with her and you know, just be with her.
She's good now though, right?
Yeah, man. She's fighting cancer, doing great, a warrior. Just it's like the theme in my life, man. Strong women. That's and awesome. So she's beating cancer, and that's why, you know, once it got cold again, we're like, okay, you know, we've been here a long time, and you're kicking this in the butt. Let's head south.
Because I live in a very thin house.
Yeah, I'm like, the winter's not for us.
Cincinnati's brutal.
Speaking of thin house, what's your house? Where do you live?
So, for the past over a year now, we've been living in an RV. So we live on the road. Mm-hmm. We live, you know, we have a truck and a fifth wheel. We hitch up and we park it and we take it places wherever we want to go. See friends like you guys. Go see family.
So take me back. How did that come? Like, what was the decision-making process to do this?
So we've been wanting to travel for a long time. Kelsey and I met doing missions. So we'd always been traveling. We spent.
Where'd you guys meet?
We met in Orlando, Florida, but we went on a mission trip to the Dominican Republic, really close to Haiti.
What were you guys doing?
We were, so the Haitians, there were a lot of like refugee camps in the Dominican Republic that were mostly Haitians that didn't want to live in Haiti, but the Dominicans didn't want to take them in. So they just set shop in like sugar cane fields. So we were slums. So we were out there like, you know, providing clean water for them.
What year was this?
Like 2011, 2010. 2009.
I was there in 2004.
Yeah, a long time ago. So we've been travelers, you know. We've always traveled. We love going to see new places, meeting people. And so when the pandemic happened, we just got fed up. I got burnt out. We were tired of like neighbors with neighbors and like the politics and just navigating all kinds of stuff. We're like,
kind of going back to what we were talking about, not the America that you immigrated into.
I'm like, what is this for? Like, what are we doing? And so she always had.
You opted out.
Yeah, she always had. Well, she always had the dream to live in an RV and like just travel the country. And I'm like, well, I hate my job right now.
And you have 2 kids?
2 kids.
2 kids. Yeah. So it's you and 2 kids.
Yeah. And I'm like, our daughter is almost 7 and our son is 4.
Awesome.
And we were just like, I'm hating my job right now. This sucks.
Change
I'm overwhelmed. I felt like I was still transitioning out of the military.
Which you were.
Yeah. And so we really just wanted to focus on family. And then my wife was like, well, just sell this house and leave. And I'm like, yeah, why don't we? And so we sold our house. we bought a big truck, we bought a big RV, and we just set sail. And it's been awesome.
You may have to censor this one, but I'm happy that pandemic happened because it opened my eyes to what's important in my life.
There has been a silver lining,
and some things people show their true colors. You were able to see left and right where some people were at and where your values lied and how strong they were, where they needed to go, and family was most important.
I'm gonna echo that because before all this happened, right?
Soft.
I was soft.
No,
and
society.
And no, I was soft. The reason why I say that is because the people that followed me had no idea where I stood politically, religiously, because I didn't talk about it. Yeah. I was talking about my businesses. I was talking about other things, and like
surfing and.
Yeah, I was just
growing your hair out.
Listen, my thing was like, right.
Let's have fun and make money.
Right. I was like, I did my military time. I did 12 years, and now it's time to get out, make money, have fun, and that's it. Yep. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be involved in any other bullshit. And her family, man, they would just drag me into this like political stuff. What do you think about this? What do you think about this country? What do you think about this war?
Those are good conversations, though. Those are good conversations.
Are they on?
That makes you think.
Are they good?
They're on the Trump train.
They're on the
2024, baby.
A little too much. A little too much on the Trump train. But anyways, and then my gym got raided, and I was like, how the hell can this even happen in this country? Like, I was so floored, and it did. It made me go, wait a minute. I have to stand up for the Constitution. I have to stand up for what America. I have to stand up for everything. That's the reason why your mom came to this country. Like, that has to be protected. Yeah, and it did. It did. There's a silver lining in it, and it kind of woke me up to. And I talked about this on the last podcast. We were living so fat and so happy that there were lessons about the Constitution and lessons about America that I didn't teach my girls because I didn't have to.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like you had to.
I didn't feel like I had to. I did have to, but I didn't because freedom wasn't in jeopardy. So I took it for granted.
Sure.
Yeah.
In that shape or form. I mean, I didn't take it for granted. Every time I took a hot shower, I was like, oh, God, this is amazing. And still to this day, every hot shower I take, I'm like, this is just fucking awesome.
Yeah. I take cold showers. I've never taken hot showers.
You should try a hot shower,
man.
I'm not Welcome to America.
I get soft.
I don't like
hot water.
I don't do hot showers either.
No. I grew up with cold water, so.
It's definitely a nice thing to have.
I just remember like being overseas and taking cold showers in the cold, and I'm like, I fucking hate this. I'm so miserable. And then when I get home,
it makes you thankful, though.
It does. It makes
I bet my paycheck
thankful.
is not reflecting this pain at all right now.
Yeah. So, anyways, it did. It woke me up, and it woke me up to not only like being a voice for reason and being a voice for what's right and what the foundation of what this country was built on for all men. But also like how important it is to, have these conversations, even when things are going good, having these conversations with your kids, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. And the idea is, as fathers and as leaders, is to prepare them for everything, all courses of action, even if it might never come. But if it does, they need to be prepared.
Yeah.
And I really do. I was like, we were just living so happy, and, I did my freedom time or did my military time, and now I was enjoying my freedom. And
it's interesting. You get out, you fight. Like we fought, right? And you get out, you think, all right, that's it. Like we're gonna have this forever. There's no way that's gonna get taken.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with my daughter, talking about, man, I spent my early years, essentially. I mean, people can split this a million ways, but like I feel that we fought terrorism. We fought a certain level of terrorism that really was oppressive to women, that made them cover their faces and this and that, and like can't educate them. And then what happens now? Like you can't go to school without covering your face, women. I'm like, this goes against everything that I fought for.
Yeah.
And
huge slap in the face too.
Huge slap in the face. So anyways, and don't, anybody that's listening, don't get me started on the medical and blah, blah, blah. Like fucking that shit's been debunked. Masks don't do anything. I hate to break it to you. I did a podcast with Dr. Kirk Parsley where he talked about, did you hear that one?
Yeah.
Where he talked about the holes in the mask.
Yeah.
He's got a little interesting
Let's hear
experience about
Let's hear it. Drop it on me.
PPE, if you're allowed to divulge that.
Before I get into that, I did want to say part of our move to this new lifestyle.
Yeah, sorry, I went on a fucking rant.
No, you're good. No, you're good. We love it.
That's good.
I love it. Yeah, part of it was for us. It was like a reality check. Like, okay, now you're the government is telling you what you can and can't do, what you need to do. You know, you can't see your neighbors, you can't go into stores, everything's shut down, businesses are shut down. You know, even families that have had a business for decades, so thousands of businesses went bankrupt. Yeah. Right.
They're not even, because there's so many small businesses, we don't even have an accurate depiction of how many
way
actually
over
went
than
under.
What we think it is, right?
Yeah.
So it was a reality check for us. We're like, yo, like, let's strip all this away. Like, what matters? Like, what matters?
Yeah.
You. And I was like, what do I consider home? It's not that house that we lived in for the past 6 years. You and my kids, like this, us, wherever we go, home. So it's a cool concept that we live in our home, and our home is with us wherever we go, literally and metaphorically. So
and that freeing feeling of letting go of all those possessions.
We go, like, we don't like where we are, we go somewhere else.
They didn't store much.
I just got fired.
Got rid of it all.
I just got fired in Ohio. Guess what? Bye.
Next.
We're going to Florida.
Hey,
you know,
next.
or to North
It's
Carolina,
warmer
whatever.
down there.
Yeah,
and they like freedom.
Yeah. So, you know, obviously, there's been a lot of research and information showing, you know, the efficacy of certain things, and, you know, a lot of back and forth. But we do know that, you know, masks don't actually help in the way that the media or the way that certain experts that probably have an agenda have been sharing about. So
why is that, Seb?
Money,
how do you
money
know
and
that?
politics.
Yeah.
But personally, and whatever, this might matter in the future to me, but who cares? This is the truth. I wanted to do a personal experiment in the ER, right? So for the past 6 to 8 months, I have not worn an N95 in my job at all.
How'd you get away with that?
I just don't care. I'm a traveler.
Yeah, but didn't they require that?
They do sometimes, but I just, who's going to tell me what? I don't.
I'm working. I'm busy.
And I had a beard. I have a beard, and usually is like longer.
Yeah.
So the N95 doesn't actually create a seal. So then I have to wear a PAPR, which is basically like a capsule with a respirator in the back. So I'm like, I'm not doing that, especially if I'm working in the ER.
And you had something.
Seconds,
it was a cloth mask, right?
Yeah, seconds matter. Yeah. So I was wearing, like, we always have for decades worn masks, like regular, like
medical masks.
Medical grade masks. Yeah,
but those are specifically for debris and things
Correct.
like that. Yeah.
So for decades, for a very long time, the evidence-based practice, we've worn those masks when we're doing like respiratory cases, when we're doing like cardiac events, when we're doing like chest compressions, or when we're doing, you know, things with intubation, ventilators and things like that, because droplets, spittle, blood, you know, and things like that, phlegm, whatever, right? To protect us, you know, but it does. So the particles are too small to be able to be stopped with that mask, right? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm just gonna try it, right? Because I've seen a lot of things, and there's a lot, but like the research that was shared wasn't lining up with my hands-on the field accounts or experience, what I was seeing with my hands and with my eyes, you know.
Why were those senior doctors years of experience?
Yeah, listen,
in mop suits.
Yeah, and so I was like, I told myself, dude. I'm not gonna wear an N95. I'm not gonna wear a shield. I'm not gonna wear a respirator. I'm not gonna wear a gown, and I'm not gonna wear even the face shield. I'm just gonna wear my mask like we always have for the longest time, and I'm gonna do my job, because I'm not gonna spend 2 minutes putting on my garb, all the stuff, making sure it works, and then go talk to the patient, and then they can't hear me because I've got like 3 or 4 layers, you know. So
I hate that so much.
What'd you say that the guys were coding, and the doctor's like, "Oh, let me get all this."
I'm
like 3 minutes
bro.
later,
I'm like,
Seb's like, "I got it."
I'm like, he's flatlining, dog. Yeah. Sometimes I remember at the beginning of the pandemic too, like we had no PPE, bro. Like by the time we found out COVID was a thing, we'd been working on patients with no mask.
Months. Yeah.
I had spittle and like blood on my uniform.
Yeah.
Months.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I remember too, I had one N95 for months. because they were like, no, we're just gonna recycle them, keep using them, and it's like, no.
Bro.
So, but now that you care, now that there's money involved,
bacterial pneumonia.
yeah. So
that's how you get bacterial.
So,
pneumonia.
anyways, I wanted to do
which
this little
will
experiment.
fucking kill you.
Yeah, I wanted to do this little experiment of not wearing all that stuff and seeing if I got sick or if I haven't gotten sick. And I'm not vaccinated. Obviously, I took a stance.
Yeah.
And I got fired for it. But I'm still not sick, and I haven't gotten sick, and I haven't had to use all that, which at the end of the day, what I care about is the patients. What I care about is life. What I care about is getting them better. So I'm not, in some ways, I feel like all that is a barrier between me and my patients.
Yeah.
So, maybe I'm like a little bit, probably not like a medical, like I'm not following some of the guidelines, sure, but at the same time, when you go into medicine, when you're in the military, like at some point you have to be okay sacrificing a little bit of yourself to help others.
And I was just about to say that, man. Like now, because of this mandate and because of what they've done, now we have everything you just said. Like your whole purpose being there is to take care of a patient. Now we have one less person that really truly cares about this human being, and you're not there.
And you're left with the people that are in there going, thank me.
Yeah, hold on.
Hold
on. Let me get, like the doctor, hold on. Let me get my PPE on so I can, try to pretend to save your life.
Yeah. If not, we're going to get paid for it anyway. So
right.
Yeah, I think maybe I don't know about it, but everything that I've ever heard from any team, any hospital that I've ever been at is, hey, you're a good team member. And that's what I take pride in. One, I want to take care of my patients. I come to work because I love this. I don't come to work because I want the money or I need the money. I can quit or I can be fired. I can take that stance and be fired because I want to care about what I'm doing. And then after that, the second thing that I take pride in is being a good team member. I want to be reliable. I want to know that that I've got your back, that we're in this together. And so everywhere that I've been, I've just been able to create really good friendships and people like, working with me.
It's
because
actually a leadership
I'm all in, I'm all in. Like I've blocked punches before. I've gotten guns out of patients, that were acting crazy, all kinds of things, and I've exposed myself to danger to protect my patients and my teammates. And so I actually, truly care, and I know a lot of people do, and I'm fortunate and blessed to have been able to, rub elbows and be shoulder to shoulder with some incredible people that I've learned a lot from.
Do you think that I don't know how to say that. Do you think that over time, just like in the Marine Corps, it's like tattoos are bad. Oh shit, we lost everybody because of this mandate.
Wait, come back.
Tattoos are good now. If you have tattoos, you can good.
On your face, just sign that waiver.
Do you think that, and in a lot of states, I don't know if it's up there, but a lot of states this mandate is getting blocked.
Yeah.
Because of a rapid loss of people in the medical field, and a lot more than what the media is reporting, of course.
I'm going to get you canceled, Nick, but I'd support those reparations.
So, exactly, right? I'm sure there's going to be some class action lawsuits and some things that come down the pipe. But do you think that this is going to get a renege in those communities?
I think we're in the middle of history being made.
Yeah.
And the problem that I have even with the vaccine itself is not that I'm against vaccines or not that I'm like so for this or so for that.
Yeah.
I'm more of hey guys, we're in the middle of it. We don't have a lot of information. We don't have a lot of timeline to be able to pull actual studies, information. Mm-hmm. We don't have a very good database right now. So let's just kind of tread a little bit easier instead of being so motivated by, I feel like, money or power.
Anytime
fear.
There you go.
Yep.
Anytime Miss Capra, left field, always with the facts. So anytime that something gets pushed so hard, from an organization, and they start making mandatory
commercials.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen
That's a red, like when you start making mandatory things.
Marketing,
yeah, like that's
heavily.
big money.
Like
just follow the paper trail.
They always ask you about you get your flu shot, but not the way that
no. And
You
as
know
a
what I'm saying?
medical worker,
you guys heard about the like the lotteries? Like you get your name put in for like $1 million drawing in certain states.
Yeah,
man.
like you know what I'm saying?
Come on,
Like
man.
there's like you get free burgers and donuts if you get this. Like we're in the middle of a health crisis,
Right.
which
Go
like,
get your healthy.
There's
healthy
just
shot.
too many things.
Seb, tell what you were saying about just even the minorities.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I was
off
I was
camera.
actually
Yeah.
I was actually going to share about this because we were talking about it earlier. So, and it's not just minorities.
Well, hold on.
This
This started with this conversation off camera started because there's videos. This recent video, there's a video down in Houston of the health department in lower income neighborhoods going door to door, knocking on doors, literally knocking on people's homes' doors, finding out if they're vaccinated, asking how many people lived in there. Are they vaccinated? Like, this is some crazy stuff.
There's several of them going on where they're offering it on the spot as well.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
So, yeah, talking about that, the problem is that, with minorities and veterans, finances or services or benefits are being used to coerce people into getting this vaccine. For example, for a veteran in certain states, of course, you can't get medical care unless you are vaccinated. Or for minorities, you can't go to school.
Isn't that discrimination?
Yeah, you can't go to school. You can't get
textbook discrimination,
benefits or housing or WIC or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you're vaccinated. So, the problem too is that historically with minorities, and I include myself in that, of course, we have been experimented on not that long ago with like vaccinations or illnesses and things like that. So there's a huge mistrust of the government and people, big pharma or corporations doing things for their own good with us as collateral damage or, as sheep or like, lab rats. So you can understand why people are hesitant. You can also understand why people just want to wait, and so I'm of the mindset of, if you want to wait, you should wait. If you don't want something that you're not comfortable with, that is your personal choice, that's what you choose, and so I'm not against the vaccines. I am for personal choice and not being coerced or obligated to do something,
right?
Because if you don't, then you don't get this.
Your benefit.
Right.
Which you can't see. This is the bottom line. It's like you can't drive through the ghetto without seeing an abortion clinic. Like you can't go.
Oh, she's gonna get fired up now.
But no, I mean, no, it's
speaking facts.
It's all facts.
Planned Parenthood is from its roots in racist organizations. So like you can't tell me that they're there to help a community. They're there to cease minorities from procreating. Right.
Yeah.
So when it comes into things like that, same thing with like if you look at the history of the CDC, throughout history, there's been the same thing with gays. When there was an AIDS pandemic, when that was like a pandemic in our country, instead of putting up clinics to help people with packets and information and testing sites and things like that, they wanted to separate themselves from it altogether and make it like it was a moral hierarchy. Yeah. Our government was like, oh, we're not obligated to do that. That's something that's like their moral choice that they did.
You couldn't even get a hold of treatments.
Right.
It was ridiculously expensive.
Unless you had money.
Right.
Or unless you were somebody.
It's a politics game, right? It's a money game. So you can't tell me that minorities, whether black, white, gays, whatever, like that they're not being targeted with this.
And I think,
that's my wife, ladies and gentlemen. I love you, babe.
Regardless of where you stand,
Well said.
I think that we can all, there's certain baseline that we can all sit at the table and agree on, and that's personal medical choice, freedom, right, of the things that you want to do or not want to do. And, you can't tell me that you're free to make a choice, but they're holding your career or your job, or your finances, or your family's future ransom, depending
your
on that
food
choice.
Stamps, right?
Right. So
your kids can't eat to this week.
Yeah.
That's not America.
No.
That is not the definition of America. Like, that's not what this country is about.
Sure.
And regardless of the facts that show that
that's not about
gold.
Yeah.
It's not about facts at this point. It's about feelings. Anyways. Oh, man.
Can't wait to train tomorrow and hurt your feelings.
I don't know where we went, or I'm like...
You want me to read the Ian Smith quote that you read me this morning? I really liked it.
I got it.
Okay, good. Yeah, you read it.
Yeah. You want to... I love this. You want to defy your government? Grow your own food. Support small business. I like that one. Transactions in cash and crypto. Collect rainwater. Homeschool your kids. Work out. Pursue natural health. Power your home off the grid. Have lots of kids. The feds hate shit they can't control.
Yep.
All of this is 100% accurate.
Yeah.
100% truth.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
And you know, that's like the new, like, that's crazy to go do that stuff.
That's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's all
Domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
For us, it was very freeing being able to be the own captains of our ship and being able to go wherever we wanted to and not have to make choices depending on repercussions.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously I'm not talking about, because you can say, oh, then you go and make whatever choice you want. And, you know, no, I'm talking about being a responsible, tax-paying, community-caring citizen that just wants to have a say in their lives and in their, you know, what they want to do. You
Taxation is theft.
Little drop. So yeah, I think, you know, we didn't plan for the pandemic. Obviously, nobody
of
did.
course. Somebody did.
I was saying the great majority of us didn't.
I think somebody did
right?
at this point.
But I think we've learned a lot through the pandemic, and you know, we haven't missed having a brick home.
Yeah.
You know, and who knows when.
How did it? Not to get into feelings, but like, give me your like. How did it feel to get basically fired for your stance? Like, you made a decision, so you kind of figured it was going to happen, but like, how did that actually like affect
did HR
you?
give you some heads up, or did they just show up one day?
You guys
and
are gonna be upset when I tell you how this went down. So we knew. So, you know, certain hospitals and states were putting out information about like a hard deadline or like you know, whatever. So we knew that October 1st for the era that we were in was going to be like a date that they were basically, you had to do it by then or you would get fired. I knew that I wasn't going to do it. And, you know, in some ways, because it's so unprecedented, like you almost kind of have to wait to see if they're actually going to do it.
Bluffing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
I thought they were bluffing in a lot of ways
so too.
too.
I was hoping.
I was like, there's no way that they're going to fire all these people, man. We need these people.
I love my job.
Yeah.
I loved working at the hospital that I was at. I love working in the ER. I love it. So I was hoping, and I told this to my wife various times. I'm like, babe, I think they really like me there. I work really hard. I think they're gonna like let me stay, thinking that like my hard work and my dedication.
Work,
I'm like, I've never been late.
Something?
I stay late. I've never been called into an office. The only thing that they ever said about me, and even patients and my coworkers and emails to HR, were good things. And I'm a traveler. Like, that doesn't happen. Nobody cares about travelers.
You're hired help.
And I'm gone.
Yeah.
But people were putting in like, I think it's called like Daisy Awards or whatever, like kudos to and so like they kept coming up to me, and like I hate that kind of attention, so I'm like, I would run away from management because they wanted to like talk to me and give me stuff and like put my picture up on a wall, and I'm like that's not happening, you know. So I would just like leave, but I was hoping that they were bluffing because I loved my job. But I guess they weren't. You know, I even put in an exemption, a legit religious exemption that like I everything how I felt, you know.
Yeah. So on the religious exemption, the reason why that I believe it's specifically Christians and Catholics can apply for the religious exemption is because one of the vaccines utilized embryos, fetal embryos to develop the vaccine.
Correct. And that was in that exemption. Yeah. And that was very well written.
Just because people don't know, like, well, that religious exemption, why?
No.
And
it was legit.
That's the reason
but
why.
They didn't follow because there's another vaccine that it doesn't. Is that why you still have to?
I don't know. I don't know if you get denied, but I know that that is why the religious exemption is there, is for that vaccine.
Yeah.
But
so I put it in,
but it's getting canceled. They're not even honoring it.
Yeah, I put mine in. It was legit, and I kept. So the October 1st happened.
Yeah.
I had already turned my exemption. Nobody said anything to me. I kept showing up. I worked like 3 or 4 more shifts.
Yeah.
Just working hard, dude. This place where I was at, it was hard work, and I loved it. I thought I was doing well, probably one of the hardest places to work at in my career, because it was that busy, that like critical, and like a lot of emergencies. Anyways,
bigger city,
huge trauma center, a huge training hospital.
No, never been.
University of Cincinnati. It was, big time. Anyways, a lot of Spanish speakers too, so I was able to like help that population out a lot, because like when you have to translate like in between like an emergency,
especially
like it doesn't work really well. Yeah,
of course.
So I loved everyone there, man. I miss them. Maybe they'll hear this. I don't know, but so I worked like another week, and I'm like, oh, cool, like nothing's come of it.
Slid under the radar. Great man.
Yeah, and then I was in the shower, getting ready to go to work. So I was working 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. It was like 9:30, 10 a.m. And I get a text from not the hospital, but from my agent. So my traveling agent, he said, hey man, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, hey man, just so I don't know if you knew or if they had notified you or not, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that your contract had, was canceled effective immediately. And I'm like, I checked it on my watch because I was in the shower, and I'm like, it just like, I was floored. I was just like, whew, like, this has got to be the Matrix, man.
Like punch you in the gut.
Yeah. I'm like, what's going on? So then I'm like, do I even like finish showering? Like, what do I do right now? I was like, I don't know, doing conditioner. I'm like, should I even do conditioner? Like, who cares anymore? Like, should I just like get out and like,
conditioner?
Like,
that was the question.
Yeah. I don't know, man. And so
do I waste my beast wash?
Yeah,
right.
So the hospital themselves never emailed me, talked to me, took me into an office, wrote me a letter, called me, texted me, nothing.
That was it.
They talked to my agent, and my agent told me, and he did me a solid, because I was going to show up to the hospital. I was on my way to the hospital. Well, I was going to shower and then leave to the hospital and show up and probably be escorted, out of the property. And so he's like, just so you know. And I'm like, bro, I had no idea. Nobody's told me anything. Nobody's emailed me, texted me, called me, nothing. And so that was it. That was literally it. I have nothing to say about that.
Did they pay you for your final shift?
Yeah. They paid me. So, yeah. But we were counting on that for finances, plans, future, kids, everything. And
can you say how much money that? I don't. You don't have to say it, but can you say how much money that cost your family?
I don't know. I can't remember. Like the boss does the numbers. I get a stipend. I think it was something like probably 7 more weeks. It would have been like 15K maybe, 16K, something like that.
Out of a family of 4, just like that.
Yeah.
That's painful, man.
I got burnt. I don't take it personal. I know I didn't do anything wrong, but
and we talked shortly after that.
We did. Yeah. We talked on the phone for a while, and you were big, and I know it's not my fault, and I know I'm not guilty of it, and you were reminding me of that, and I needed to hear that, from different people, because
even if you know it, it's good to hear.
When you care about something so much, and when you're doing it for the right reasons, it feels like a burnt. I was burnt, and I'm like, man, this sucks, and I haven't, by choice, I haven't been able to go back because I just don't feel ready to go back to nursing yet. Now we needed to take a break, and this is on top of 2 years or a year and a half of the pandemic, and the medical field it's been a lot,
it's strained.
Especially in the ER, ICUs, and the med surge floors. It's been a lot.
We've strained the first medical and first responder community, and not
firefighters.
And not because we're strained because of over COVID cases. We're strained on how we've treated them. Yeah, they're strained on how we've treated them.
Lack of money, lack of resources, overworked.
Yeah.
First thing I asked you when you came in this morning was, do you want to go back to nursing?
I do. I love nursing, dude.
I'd be so pissed.
This is like my 4th career change, and it's the one that I've actually I went to college. I went to 5 different colleges. I went to a deployment. It took me 5 years to transition into this job because I finally in my 30s found my calling. Yeah. And I'm not able to do it because I'm not getting a vaccine, but I was like face first that, you know, when this first happened, I quarantined myself from my family for like a month or 2 because we didn't know back then. Right. We had no idea. Right. So I'm
We're all wiping Amazon packages down like idiots.
My son has asthma. And so I'm like, when the pandemic, when it first happened, I'm like, I got to get out of here, dude. If something happens to my son because of me, like, I will never forgive myself. So I quarantined away until we started finding out more, you know, research and more stuff. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good to go back home now because I've seen a lot more in my practice too. But yeah, I got burnt. I felt, you know, pretty bad. And, you know, not that I want to take like a victim stance because I'm not a victim. That doesn't help anyone. But I care about nursing, you know, and I think my coworkers.
It sounds like you care about the community. You care about people.
And my patients and my coworkers, they know. They know, you know. And so
they're the ones that are also suffering too.
Right, because they don't have them. Yeah.
You know, they're number one.
Well, you know, if I can take this break and get down to Florida and old DeSantis is.
We'll send you down there nice and sore, so you'll be good.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. Take a few days.
And can't wait.
I mean, they just, I think it's about to be, I know it passed the House in Florida, but I think it's actually be signing a law that you cannot mandate all this in Florida.
Sure.
God bless Florida.
I know, man. I am a Florida, just so everybody knows, I am a Florida boy, and my ass, and my wife, and my kids' ass, all of our asses are going back to Florida eventually.
Right. I wasn't raised there, but I was born there. I'm heading back.
Let's buy a lot of property, build a compound,
collect rainwater.
I'm going to collect rainwater. We're going to have more kids.
Hey, my wife is a nurse too, and she actually has a lot more experience than I do. We have medical on site.
So actually, we plan on doing that. So I plan on taking the Agoge back down there. Yeah. So eventually, you know, Johnny Six will be sold. That's the goal there. But we'll take the Agoge down there and we'll expand our actual fixed site gym and put some jiu-jitsu portion in there. And I'm going to drag Tyler's whole family down there too. We're just going to keep doing this thing.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Count me in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my cousin's a paramedic on a helicopter in Ohio, and he just 12 years he just lost his job.
No.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah. He's a smart guy though. He's got some stuff he can fall back on, but
that sucks. To
have to do that.
They have to do that. Yeah. It's different if he chooses like, hey, okay, I think I'm ready. I'm ready for the next chapter in my life. Right. I want to do this. Cool.
Choice.
But to be forced out, dude. So many people and some of my coworkers, great people that have taught me so much, have been forced into early retirement or forced to change careers.
It was his method of service, and that was what he loved to do. So
it's
just not fair to have that stripped away, you know.
So
Sebastian, tell me what your goals are for the future, man. What do you think about doing?
So currently,
you've had to give that some thought. I'm
sure.
Like
We've thought
those
about
showers,
it.
those cold showers.
A lot happens in the shower. Yeah. So
right.
A lot of brainstorming, a lot of ideas. Yeah.
Yes. You know. What's the thoughts? What you got going?
Yeah, so we're going down to Florida to take a little sabbatical. We're gonna be doing some volunteering with the organization that we were with when we first met, my wife and I.
What was that again?
It's called Youth with a Mission.
Oh, I've done that.
Yeah. So we're gonna be down there and give back to the community, help support that cause a lot, and then at the same time, focus on us, just kind of be off the grid for a little bit, pray a lot, and talk about and plan like. You know, do we go into nursing? Where do we go into nursing? Do we do something else? Like, what is the next steps that we should be taking? And also, I feel like for me, you know, do a little bit of healing, a little bit of like,
recenter yourself.
Resetting, a little sabbatical, some rest.
What's the timeline looking like on that?
I'd say probably at least a month or 2, and then, you know, probably taking a nursing assignment or figuring out the next move, probably like January maybe.
What do you think is going to show you what the right step is?
So it's going to be it's going to be a combination of like, you know, praying and like talking to my wife and seeing like what we want to do, where we.
Do you think if you're just kind of happy and in a good place down there? You just wait and the opportunity will sort of present itself?
Maybe. I mean, so we're not, when I say rest, like, I don't mean like just sit on the couch and do nothing. That's not what we do, so we're going to be volunteering. We're going to be giving back.
Coconut or something,
we're gonna, I still have, Vet WOD, which I co-run with a friend, and then I'm a part-time coach online with Street Parking too. So I'm still really, really busy. So it's not,
Where did you say where you're going?
Orlando area.
Area. Okay.
Yeah.
So just a little bit north.
Yeah, and you just kind of, go from there. So
we've got a ton of contacts down in South Florida, Boca area, Fort Lauderdale area.
I'm from Miami.
Well, if you need me, man, you know where I'm at.
I was born in Broward County Hospital.
Hollywood?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not really Miami, but you're
Broward County.
Broward County, yeah. No, so I actually
I think actually my parents might have lived in Miami. And then we ended up in.
So I was kind of like in between Miami and Broward, like Miami-Dade and Broward. I was like Opa-locka, Carroll City, Miami Lakes, Pembroke Pines, Miramar area, kind of like so. Yeah, but even my number is like 305,
Dude, when I go down, it's weirdest thing. So, getting into like, my wife's got me weird into frequencies and like
earthing.
And you know what? I fought it.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you don't know?
Grounding.
So you want to break it down for him?
But
I can bumble through it.
Break it down, Mary.
He lives through it. He doesn't even know it. But essentially, you want to get, because everything is off of frequency, including like electronics specifically, music, everything people think have frequency, but everything has a frequency, and those frequencies disrupt your frequency. So your frequency is at complete peace and rest when it is the same. When it is at complete rest and is at its best, and your whole is the same frequency of the earth. And people don't know that. So the number one way to get your frequency back on track after it's been affected by electronics and everything is to put your bare feet on the ground.
Yep.
For at least
grounding.
Yep, grounding for at least 5 minutes a day.
Yeah.
So when you're getting like amped.
I do that all the time.
And here's the
unintentional.
The baby gets out of control or has like a little tantrum or something. If I go put his bare feet on the ground.
When I get out of the car of a long trip, I got to take my shoes off and put my feet.
Hug a tree or like sit on the ground.
Sit on the ground, even
lay
concrete.
on the ground. Look. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll change everything.
So I take it one farther. I think that where you come from. So yes, you and the earth, humans and the earth share the same frequency. So when we touch, it's like we sync back up, and that's why people like veterans, when they go out to nature and they get away, anybody if they're having a problem
outdoors,
they get outdoors and they get away from everything. They're like, man, I just feel better. You're
disconnected from like technology and like
busyness. There is a scientific reason why you're feeling better.
Sure.
But I think it goes one further. I think that where you come from, I think the frequency, even a minute change in frequencies, like when I go to Greece, oh my God, man.
Peace.
So do you know how bees work?
Same with Florida. Hold on. So same with Florida. When I go to South Florida,
I believe it.
Same feeling.
You feel at home.
That's only 2 places in the world where I had that same exact feeling. It's weird. Yeah. Anyways, bees.
It's not weird, but yeah.
I think there's some magnets involved. I don't know if that's the same thing. It gets into some frequencies
and
stuff like that. Yeah. But bees, if you move them away from their home, you can either only move them. If you move them more than 2 feet, you have to move them 2 miles so that they can reset their frequency. And
no kidding.
dial
like
back in, or they will lose they will be lost and die.
No
it's
kidding.
Amazing. Imagine that.
Yeah. So, anyways, if you're out there, if you're ever feeling a little frustrated,
I get it.
Just go put your feet. We do that with the Agoge, and we tell clients all the time, like, "Are you earthing?
Get barefoot."
Yeah. Stay away from your phone.
We
preferably
love being
naked.
bare feet, like bare feet, being outdoors in the grass, working out, like in the grass and stuff like that. Like it's very, I don't know. It's cool. It just kind of like strips everything down.
Every outside negative influence and impact of all of our lives, and just getting those back in check or out of your mind is the best.
So you're going to Orlando. Is that where mom's is? Is that why?
Miami, Florida is where my mom is.
So why Orlando?
Well, last year we spent I took an assignment for 4 months in Miami.
Okay.
So tax purposes or like where you work, you're not supposed to be you're not supposed to work in the same place away from home twice within the same calendar year. So I can't work in South Florida. We can't work in South Florida. So Orlando is close enough where my family's still close. It's still nice and warm. We have friends there, but it's not Miami. So
what's the
You
reason?
can go down there and drive.
What's the reason for not being able to work in that area?
Traveling.
Twice.
Yeah.
Traveling.
Taxes.
Huh.
Yeah.
For their program.
I see where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah, for the program.
Yeah.
So, funny story. So we, our nonprofit, the Raider Project, was a component of Gallant Few years, up until this last year, actually. And I mean, Carl Munger has been one of my mentors for, since the beginning. So strangely enough, you did something with Gallant Few. Allie actually ran the marketing for that. And we did something with Vet WOD, and I told her, and she's like, "Oh, I did that."
Well, I had the photos. I edited one of your photos, and
Small world.
I said, "That looks just like the guy I did that." And he goes, "That's him." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Small world. So let's see. This might have been our first or second annual event. Our recipient for the funds was the Gallant Few.
Oh, awesome!
And so
anyways, that was just a weird small world that how we actually crossed paths, sort of, way back when. But give me the backstory on Vet WOD.
So,
because in the veteran community, it's very well known.
Yeah,
it's very large.
No,
it
is.
is.
Everybody, really, it really is.
I mean,
I say it, and people are like, "Oh yeah," all the time. Yeah.
So, what year was this? Like 2017, maybe. I was on my last deployment before I got out of the military. I was downrange in Qatar in a base that wasn't. It was downrange, but it wasn't like super advanced. It was a very safe place where our planes were based out of, and then from there, we would go out to. I mean, I think I hit like 10 countries on that deployment, but it was a U.S. base, friendly, safe,
Yeah.
And we had a gym.
But you guys were long range medevac.
Everywhere in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we would go all the way to Germany to drop off like critical patients. But there was a gym behind the big gym, and that had more. It was more like how I like to work out, like very functional, very like, not so much like machines with cables and like, running machines and stuff like that. So it was like a CrossFit,
like the Agoge
military style. Yeah. And that gym didn't have a lot of equipment. Everything was broken, rusted. There was no roof over it. It got as hot as like 120, 115. The sand, dust, like the sun hitting it. The equipment was rusted, broken. A lot of stuff was missing. We had like, one dumbbell instead of like two. And so I was doing my street parking programming as well as my friend Brody. I was doing his like, my goal was to get as strong as I could. So I was doing like a lot of working out. And two, so like the days would go by faster and I would meet people. Yeah. So I just couldn't do a lot because everything was broken and there wasn't a lot of equipment. And I remember like I cut myself on the pull-up bar because the paint was chipping, like the coating was, and we had to put like tape around it. And
it was melting because it was hot.
It was
I remember
horrible,
those days.
man.
Yeah.
And so I just decided one day I was talking to my friend Brody and I was like, man, like I'm going to do something about this. Like why can't we just have stuff? And so I just started like thinking that I wanted to leave this place better off than when I got there. Mm-hmm. And so I went and talked to some of the coaches and I was like, hey, I want to do something. I want to do a fundraiser. I want to bring some stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. Everybody that comes here wants to do something. That's cool, man. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, bro. Next time I came back, I had everything planned out. I had already reached out to people. So I did a competition for us there on site to like build morale and for us to have a blast. And on the other side of that was also a fundraiser for anyone back home that wanted to support, send products, send prizes, send equipment, whatever. And so I'd never done anything like that, so I was emailing thousands of people at like 3 or 4 in the morning because of the time change and a lot of people showed support. And one of the people that I linked up with was Kate Weezy, which eventually became my VetWod partner. And she just wanted to help out. And she had like the registration leaderboard, like some software to help us organize. And she was amazing. And we ended up raising like $15K. We like outfitted the gym with like so much stuff. And
$50,000?
15.
Oh, 15?
15 to
Still great.
20. Yeah, I can't remember, like 18 it ended up being or something like that.
For deployed
Pretty
gym?
fantastic.
And straight
Perfect.
equipment. Straight equipment. That's it. All in equipment.
That's awesome.
Which was a lot. And then that put pressure on the base to give us a canopy. So then they built a CE, civil engineer, built us then a huge canopy to protect our equipment, because we're like, there's a lot of money here. Like,
And then
you know,
Biden gave it to ISIS.
yeah, sure. Different base, but yeah. And then, you know, I left, you know, and they still have amazing stuff there. And, you know, down the road.
So this wasn't even Vet WOD.
No.
Was just...
But then Wheezy and I wanted to do something else. So she reached out. She's like, hey, we need to link up again. We need to do something. I'm like, I'm all in. And so we did an event that at the time, that very first event, all the proceeds were going to go to Mission 22. And so we did that event. And in the middle of the event, we're like, yo, like, this is a thing. Like, it was going to be a one-time event, you know, and we're like, people are asking for it. People need this. There's you know, it's been awesome. We didn't think it was. And so then we went through the proper channels to like become a nonprofit and, you know, do all the legal stuff. But it was born out of a need. It was born out of a desire to give back, a desire to use fitness and use interpersonal relationships and struggling together as a means to cope, to not seek self-destructive behaviors or you know, like alcohol or drugs or self-medication or isolation, you know. So that's what Vet WOD is. It's if I could just sum it up, it's physical activity, fitness, and community as a means to together get through things and help cope.
Instead of sitting on your couch and just wondering why things suck. Yeah.
How often do you put out is it every day you put a different workout out?
No. So we do yearly events.
Okay.
But people started reaching out and more needs started coming up. So now we have the main event, which actually just finished, and I'm in the middle of like finishing that up. So our 4th annual event just happened. But in between that, we have a ton of satellite events right now. So that same gym that I just talked about, in CrossFit Undisclosed, I've been able to, that event became the number 1 event. And so every year since then, whoever's over there continues to do that event that I started, and I've been involved in every single one from here.
Nice.
Awesome.
So they're doing their 4th version currently, and VetWod sponsors them and like sent them a ton of stuff, and other, you know, people have helped. And
How are you guys organized? Do you have like a staff? Do you have any? Is it all?
We do kind of now, but for the first couple of years, man, it was just me and Wheezy, you know, and we never planned on doing this. I didn't.
That's kind of the best kind.
Yeah, and so it was a lot of figuring things out.
Because that means there's a need there, and that you're just
a lot of learning, man, and I was in graduate school to become a nurse at the time this started, and I didn't have any money. I was living off of the GI Bill, BAH, which was just barely enough.
$1,000.
Yeah, sure.
Which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, but that's all me and my family were living on, so it was tight. And so to be able to put up the funds for VetWod, I was donating plasma and blood, and that was what
with that anthrax vaccine, baby, you get that 125.
I still got a scar, and I hated it, but that's
how Johnny Slick started.
Yeah. Really? Awesome. Yo, so the foundation of VetWod started from that, and then Wheezy, they put in some funds, and we started just doing things, and little by little, it, you know, people started believing in us and helping us. And so the first set of patches, the first set of stickers, the first set of shirts were all from that money. And then, you know, we've been able to help hundreds of, you know, I don't know, thousands maybe.
How's someone get involved who doesn't know about it yet?
VetWod, VetWod on social media, or vetwod.org is our website, you know, and
And they can donate on the website.
Donate on the website, reach out to us if there's a need, or if somebody wants to like host an event or, you know, sponsor, whatever, you know, whatever it is, it's pretty easy to find.
I like that. I like that term, building resilience through physical fitness. You know, it's just because you know, in my heyday when I was working with a lot of veterans, one-on-one. Now, I support in a different capacity, but I would get these guys talking to me about all their problems, and I'm like, okay, what are you doing? They're like, nothing. I'm like, you think maybe that's the problem? You're
going to stay where you are if
you're going to stay where you are. Was that Winnie Pooh thing? He's like, this is my best quote, one of my most favorite quotes. I usually get to where I'm going by leaving where I'm at.
Yep.
So simple.
Winnie the Pooh, man.
Winnie the Pooh, man.
So profound.
I know, man. Little bear, man. What a...
Yeah.
Some of the
deepest quotes, man.
I know. Winnie Pooh, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those guys were all writing those things on acid, so it had to be.
Well,
who sits around and writes?
Hey, man. However you get there.
There's some enlightenment there.
Yeah. All right. So that's VetWod. So you guys go support that. I'm going to support that. In any way that I can ever support, please let me know.
Appreciate it.
Also, street parking.
Mm-hmm.
What a freaking crazy tribe you got there.
Yeah.
So what
street parking is amazing.
When I first started seeing it, because we linked up at PBAbbate fight camp, and I started seeing it. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Thanks for the invite to Vegas, by the way.
He's always butthurt. He's getting left out.
500 people went out, like 35,000.
Tyler's got FOMO all the time.
Yeah. So a lot of people in the street parking community have FOMO because it's kind of hard to.
What is it?
So street parking is online fitness programming workouts that are specifically geared towards people that are busy, can't make it to a gym, have a lot of responsibility, can't afford a gym. We're able to give you workouts that you can do from home, from your job, from a park, from wherever, the firehouse, police station, deployed downrange. I was doing street parking workouts in the back of a C-17, C-130, airplanes, like cargo planes, after missions or whatever. So it's this whole idea of, once you become a parent, once you're an operator or you work shift work and you can't make it to a gym because of your schedule, because you have to sleep when people are awake, and
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. You miss class, you can work out with one dumbbell or two dumbbells or a barbell or a kettlebell, with whatever you have. Very minimal equipment. You can work out anywhere, in your living room, in your garage. So the whole idea, the name for street parking is you park in the street so you can work out in your driveway or in your garage. And so that's basically, what it's centered around. And, the founders are...
Sounds like stop making excuses and fucking work out.
Exactly.
How long are the workouts? Are they all different?
All different, but, as low as like 15, 20 minutes to like 30 minutes.
Okay.
And they're like... that's all you'll need to do for that day. If you do it right.
Yeah, we program some workouts like that. We've got a no excuses training guide. Yeah. It is not fun. No. They're like body weight workouts. You don't need any equipment. They're timed.
And Julian and Miranda, the owners, they're big time previous CrossFit, not only athletes but also coaches and gym owners. Okay. And so they have a ton of experience. They know how to program effectively. Yeah. So not that you go to a gym for an hour and no. How much time do you have? Maximize
get
that.
It in.
Yeah.
Get it in.
And they live the life, man, and they're the best sponsors.
So what's the process like? How do you get signed up?
You go to streetparking.com, you sign up, and then you'll have access to not only daily workouts, but then accessory workouts, strength workouts, endurance workouts, maintenance, which is what we call like our yoga, stretching, recovery type.
But you don't have
workouts.
a coach. This is just a workout.
Not a one-on-one coach, but you have a few of people like me that help you to navigate according to your goals. So, what you want to
through the website or through an app?
Through the app, through social media. We have a private Facebook and Instagram group and our emails. Yeah. So we're going back and forth, sharing a ton of content, giving you options. A lot of it is we give you so many options and we take so many barriers away.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're just removing excuses all the time.
And so you have one of this is what you can do. You're recovering from injury, this is what you can do. Oh, you just had a baby, this is what you can do. You have a fully outfitted gym, this is what your options, you know. And so it's amazing. And I think the best part is the community.
Yeah.
The accountability, the support, the motivation, the all of us, again, you know, the constant theme here, all of us together suffering, trying to get better together and encouraging each other up, picking each other up on the way. And it's been great.
And how long you been doing this?
Over 3 years now, maybe 4 years. I'm not really sure. But the company itself, we just had our 5-year anniversary in Vegas, which was a huge deal. And we weren't planning on the pandemic happening, but when that happened and gyms started closing and people realized that, hey, I gotta take ownership of my own fitness. I gotta take ownership of my own journey
And health. Yeah.
We blew up. We were.
Oh man, as a business owner, on the entrepreneur side
Yeah.
and the business owner side, I would have just tripled down on that.
Yeah.
Like-
It just so happened that we had been doing this for years.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, all gyms are closed now.
We got you.
Here you go. You
Yeah.
know, and it's been amazing. You know, and we just launched our new platform, our new app, and you know, we've always hear the members and always hear, you know, the suggestions and how to get better. And I mean, it's only getting better. And
Yeah.
so, you know, Julian and Miranda, from the top down to everyone, like, they really care. And so that is what is seen, you know, in our product and in our members and in our community. So
So when you follow Seb on social media, you'll see him outside his RV doing a bunch of training all the time.
yeah.
With one dumbbell, 2 dumbbells,
Yep.
just sweating.
Mm-hmm.
You look phenomenal, by the way.
Thanks,
You're
bro.
one of the hottest dads
Thanks,
out
bro.
there, man.
The new definition of a dad bod,
It's called a father figure.
father figure.
That's
There you
what that is.
Yeah.
That's what we always tell people. Like, you want to be a dad bod, or you want to have a father figure? You know, get your shit right.
go. Gotta chase my kids around, man. They're no joke.
So what's next, man? What's next for you?
We're gonna be in Orlando for a couple months.
Mhm.
You know, reset. You know, pray, think about what we want to do next, and make a decision along with my teammate, my partner, my wife, and go from there.
Excellent, man.
So excited.
Yeah. What am I missing?
Well, we got to get the smell tests going.
Oh, that's right. You didn't
Oh.
get it, did you?
No, do you want me to go grab it right now?
Yeah. Well, actually, what's your favorite Johnny Slicks products?
I'm really into the pomade right now.
But what scents? I almost said flavors, but you're not supposed to eat it. You know, like Johnny says that. Don't eat it.
No, don't eat it. I'm sure it tastes good too, but
No, I
no.
don't think it does.
Let's see. So I have beard oil, which I think is rugged.
How old are you?
34 yesterday.
34. Yes. Yeah, so
Oh, it's your birthday.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Everybody, happy birthday. You have the
Yeah.
happy birthday song?
Hey,
Oh, you just got
there you go. My own personal standing ovation.
yeah.
Your audience.
Thank you. Yeah,
so
so I
rugged.
have rugged for beard oil, and then the pomade I think is original. Or
So-
I don't know.
So,
It's amazing.
yes. So you're technically in the age group that you would prefer rugged over original. So it's interesting. We have basically put people in. We've segregated
A
people.
box.
Yeah, we put people in a box. But really, so under 30, they really like original. Over 30 in alpha, if you're on the black label side, like more executive level side, you really like the alpha. But if you're over 30, then men are drawn to rugged and omega.
Yeah.
And like could collect, like, this is consistent across the board. That let me ask what he likes, but this is consistent across the board with people. Even like we've had guests on camera, and we're like, here's one and here's two. You got to pick one. And if they're in that age group, they pick their right one.
So I think so rugged, it smells a little bit more like rustic, like lumberjack, kind of more mature.
Yeah. And the other one smells more like cologne.
Yeah. So I like them both, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they both are great.
Yeah, and
They both are great.
I've never used colognes or like really cared about like smelling good. So I feel like they're both a step up for me. I'm sure my wife agrees.
Bro, we've had, I think at this point, 12 confirmed pregnancies based off the scent.
I'll let you know in a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Paradise where it's at anyway.
Paradise is where it's at. But what I was going to say, what is your favorite
Paradise.
outside of Paradise? Paradise is like, that's a win. across the board. But if you had to go original or rugged, which one are you gonna go?
I like them both, but I am a little bit of I just like originals. It's what you gave me first for the shave cream, and I love that smell.
Really?
Yeah.
You're breaking the.
I don't think I've smelled this one before.
So I wanted you to try Paradise. You seem like you might.
Paradise
like
is dope, dude.
Maybe.
Tropical.
Yeah.
But yeah, that shape. Alpha's just incredible, though.
So
I have not tried the alphas.
Are you alpha?
No, I'm Omega.
No, Omega is the one I like. So whichever one that you pioneered or whatever, like that's legit.
Yeah, Omega is for the older gentlemen.
Paradise?
Paradise is awesome, dude. I've got the
See, that doesn't smell like you have to get into that, but smell that one.
The Paradise beard oil, it's amazing.
It's almost too fruity.
Dude. Oh, no,
a little bit too fruity for me.
This puts me in Florida.
Yeah.
Right now.
Smell it.
As soon as I smell it, I'm like gone.
I don't know, maybe I don't have a sweet tooth, so yeah, too fruity for me.
Whoa.
Yeah, too
dude, that's my jam.
Like
It's
too
tropical,
sweet,
man.
too
It's
sweet.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too
It's like
sweet.
coconuts.
It's got grapefruit. That's why
amazing.
you don't. Like
You don't like grapefruit?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't like grapefruit, but that smells amazing.
There's the young man one. That's the Black Label young man. It's like
it's good.
30,
The
30
original and the
It's
rugged
Omega.
I like. Man.
Omega's where it's
I
at.
also like simple. I think this is a little bit like too much for me. Yeah.
But every time, hey, tell that to all the dudes that
that
come to our
smells
gym
good.
and go,
It smells
man, why do you smell so
clean."
amazing?
Yeah, that's
Clean,
alpha.
I'm
Yeah.
like, just use this.
Oh, that smells clean.
You know what we're launching? You'll like this. You know what we're launching Black Friday? Johnny Z's Sleep Essential Oil.
Ooh.
So
I'll get you
My
one.
wife will like it. She's
you-
an
are
essential
you
oils lady.
Really?
Yeah.
So you familiar with? I don't even know what it's called. So I went to a brain clinic when I got out, and they used a couple things. One, the brain clinic used oils as kind of creating a Pavlovian response to deregulate stress and help with sleep.
Like
right?
Conditioning.
Conditioning. Yeah.
Parasympathetic, isn't that what it's
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your parasympathetic response. So then a good buddy of mine, Jeff Nichols, really built out a sleep protocol that he was teaching. And one of the things was, what he would do was he would smell this smell, even with the same toothbrush at a certain time. So like to dim the lights, blue light glasses, don't get any, so you would purposely down regulate. And it's just like anything else. You have to build the rhythm, right? You got to put the reps in. So what we did, and she started doing with me when I was having, because we've been together for a while now, and she was with me, through my transition out of the military, post-military, and she really started using it on me too, without me even really knowing it. She was like every night, she was like putting this stuff on me, and I'm like,
I knew what I was doing.
You had no idea.
I didn't know. I was like, get your snake oil out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't think.
So you knew that she was doing it, but you didn't know that it was gonna have
what the
that
purpose
effect.
was. Yeah, what the purpose was.
Right.
But what it created was it did. I started smelling that, and as soon as I smelled that response,
You associate it.
I associate it with it. So so in Black Friday we're launching Johnny Z's. It's gonna have 12 grams of this particular essential oil lavender in there, which lavender helps you downregulate stress and sleep.
She loves lavender. Yeah.
So the end goal is to have an entire line with Johnny Slicks that's helping people downregulate stress. So like you at night, you go into your bathroom, you dim I put a dimmer on my bathroom so I can dim the lights in my bathroom. Wash with the Sleep Essential body wash. Put the oil on your wrist, in your beard if you've got it, on your neck.
Yeah.
And then just create that rhythm of doing it every single time. And what happens over time is like you start smelling that, you're like yawning, you're like, I'm getting tired.
Yeah,
and
for
now,
sure.
so you're down regulating.
Is that like routine and consistency or something?
Yeah.
So the
that's right.
natural properties of those type of compounds, like lavender, on top of creating a routine, consistency.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy when my wife. Are you going to be able to diffuse this oil as well? Do you know?
You definitely can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's not. I don't know
floating
that
in
you.
the air and
It's
stuff,
a little
you
more
just-
expensive than.
Yeah, I don't know if you
I don't know
want
if you
to.
wanted to just like
but it's
when my wife
meant
does
to
that,
be.
I don't even realize it. But I'm like, man,
It's meant to go on your.
relaxed.
It's meant to go on your skin and hair, but you can.
my wife started buying a bunch of essential oils, and it's not that I wasn't a believer, but I was like a skeptic, and also you're
same
spending
thing.
like hundreds of dollars on this stuff, but like little by little, like I'm like, essential oils are amazing.
Yeah.
They smell good.
Yeah.
They with our son, he's got asthma, so we used a lot of like eucalyptus.
Yeah.
A lot of like compounds and like defense boosting, immunity
Thieves or
boosting.
something?
Yeah,
No, the other thing
thieves.
they were
Oh,
using
thieves is amazing.
for guys that were getting for TBIs that were getting nauseous, they're using peppermint essential
Yeah,
oils too.
peppermint.
For headache,
to
man,
remove,
She gives me peppermint when I have like headaches and stuff, and I'm like, next thing I know, I'm like, oh,
Money.
the headache's gone.
It's crazy, right?
And then I didn't have to use like Tylenol,
Ibuprofen,
or
that's-
ibuprofen.
You know, I don't know about you, but man, like I used to chew up 1,600 milligrams ibuprofen pre-mission. It's like
I used to as
My
well.
gut lining
especially
was
with the
just-
injuries I had
Yeah.
in the military, and you still had to perform a job.
Yeah. You just have to do the thing.
Just
But what's crazy
boom.
is with that, with doing medications like that. Yes, you took care of whatever pain or like whatever ankle, back pain, whatever you have going on in your hips. But then your gut lining is trashed. You're not absorbing nutrition. If you're taking a vitamin D supplement, you're not absorbing it because your gut lining is just torn to bits. You're not absorbing all the vitamins and minerals that you need, so your health is further declining.
Yeah.
So anyways.
And I think a big part of that too is like if you need NSAIDs or anti-inflammatory medication to be able to do something, you're not treating the cause. So at some point, I had to strip it all down and go back to the basics. There was a while where all I could do was yoga because that's the only thing that didn't hurt my joints
But
and,
Seb,
and
that
my
takes work,
injuries.
man.
Oh, yoga is incredible, dude. But like,
I do yoga.
You
I
know,
just mean in general.
Yes.
4 nights a week.
Instead of
4
taking
days a week.
medication.
Yeah.
He puts me in these positions.
I'm
Yeah,
telling
told him
you,
I
no,
was
it's amazing, man. So because I stopped doing heavy things or things that would hurt me, even in jiu-jitsu, it helped me a lot because now I'm
Yoga's
not
legit.
lifting weight. I'm
Yeah.
moving according to what my body allows me to move, right?
Which is,
I-
and it gets better over time.
I
too.
allowed my body to heal where I wasn't broken anymore, and then I can build back up.
Yeah.
So NSAIDs and self-medicating, it's a patch.
Yep.
It's a
It's
mask.
not a fix.
It's a mask,
It's a
really.
patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're just masking the
Well,
pain.
you guys go to johnnyslicks.com on Black Friday.
I'll
and,
be there.
Boom.
and get use the Harbor site actually. Well, actually, Black Friday is going to be more expensive, so or there's going to be a bigger coupon. It's 25% off. But if you need something now, use the Harbor site and get you 10% off. And also our sponsor BPN, Bear Performance Nutrition. You can use code RAIDER there. It'll save you a ton of money. And then if you need, every man over 30 should be getting his blood tested, right, Tyler?
You're damn right.
You're damn right. Get
Yep.
your blood tested, and then the links are in the show notes for Core Medical Group. Get your blood tested at first. See where your hormones are at. Do not live life suffering because life is short and life should be good, and it is good if you get healthy. So go get healthy, you guys. Thank you guys for listening so much. Please, please, please drop us a comment. Leave a review. Screenshot this podcast if it helped you. Anything, it's going to help. If it helped you, it helps somebody else. Tag all of us. All of our links are below, and we'll share it out there and get this message out. So thank you guys for coming on the Harbor site. We'll see you guys in the next episode.